Perfect. gentlemen, we are live! It's time!
What is going on, everybody? We are so back. We are so back, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, everyone? Hold up. Let me light it up. See what I did there? You see what I did there? What's going on, everyone? If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share it throughout your entire social media platforms as we are live here on the Around the Point Network YouTube channel. It is Monday, September the 8th, 2025. How was your weekend? How was your weekend? Did your team win over the weekend? I know a lot of you are excited for the return of football. I asked, did your team win? How was your weekend? I can't hear you, but I hope it was a good one. I hope your team ended up winning and all that stuff. Once again, if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share throughout your entire social media platform, wherever it is that you share your videos. But more importantly, hit the like button as well. It does help out the video, the streams. It also helps when it appears on people's search and stuff like that. It helps the algorithm more than anything. Okay. But yeah, man, for me, weekend was chilled, for the most part with family. But outside of that, it was fun for the most part. Um, outside of that, I do got one thing to say. Again, I've been a driver, and the boys know about this, but I gotta say this now too. I've been a driver for the last couple of years now. And the one thing that's getting to me, the one thing that is pissing me off, and I don't know about most of you, I don't know how it is where you guys live, but the one thing that I'm seeing a lot of, especially here in Jersey, are a lot of these kids riding these motorized scooters and these mopeds on the streets like it's fucking Need for Speed. Why? It is beyond fucking me. It is the most ridiculous thing ever. Now, look, I'm not a parent, but I get there's some of you out there who are parents. And if you want your kids to go outside, not to be at home all day, I don't know, not be on social media the entire time or be on their phones, whatever it may be, you want them to go out there and get some fresh air. That's awesome. That's awesome. But this whole notion of, oh, well, let's get him this scooter, let's get him this. Nah, bro, we're good, bro. We're good. The last thing I need to deal with is one of these kids riding these mopeds on the streets, going fast as all hell, especially the motor scooters. I hate it. I freaking hate it. At this point, you might as well just let them, drive a motorcycle while we're at it. Might well let these kids get a driver's license while you're at it. I'm just saying. Like the other day, I'm driving, and it was like, probably sometime in the afternoon. And I saw it. Keep in mind, at this hour, it was the kids were getting out of school. They were getting out of school, and I saw these kids riding these motor scooters as they're leaving school. So they're even taking these shits to school. A lot has changed since I was a youth. It's crazy. It is crazy, but I do hope something needs to. I do hope things get done. Like, look, to me, there should be a rule. If you're under 18, you can't ride a motor scooter. You can't ride a moped, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That needs to be a rule. That needs to be a fucking rule that they need to start implementing, because this is getting ridiculous. The last thing I want to deal with is seeing a kid get hit by a car. Because it's funny enough, not funny enough in that way, but like it's crazy enough. A couple of years ago in my town that I used to live in, the city decided to provide these motor scooters for people. So how it worked was you would go to a scooter, you would I guess scan the QR code, whatever it was on your mobile device, and you pay to ride that scooter. Ride the scooter, whatever it is, right? Do what you got to do, right? And most people used it to go to work, whatever it was, just to commute, right? On paper, it's a good idea, right? Hey, you take it's like when you go to the city, right? You rent the bike, whatever it may be, right? Cool concept, right? But then you had these kids who had smartphones, right? Because of their parents, whatever it may be, and they would have their parents like Apple Pay or Samsung Pay on their phones, and they would use it to ride these scooters. And one day a kid got hit by a truck and he died. And then after that, the city decided to not, we're going to cut ties with these scooters. It's over with. And the worst part about it is you ride these scooters, you can leave it wherever you want. So I would literally go to work at 4 a.m. and I would see these scooters on my front lawn, my front yard. Ridiculous. But it's not getting to that length, to that extent. But I do think, again, the city needs to do something. The state needs to do something. And again, I'm speaking for someone who lives in Jersey, right? I can't speak for those of you out there who live in a different state, how it is and all that stuff. But I hope it's better than what the fuck's going on over here. Outside of that, the kids are back in school, right? So that's kind of cool, right? So you got the morning to yourself, you get to relax, right? Knowing that your children are in the classroom getting their education. Thank you, Brandon Brown, for becoming a new YouTube member. We appreciate that. And if you guys want to become channel members as well, feel free to hit the join button. It's only $2.99 a month. But you guys don't want to hear about me rambling about this bullshit about kids and mopeds and motor scooters, as annoying as it is. You guys want to hear me talk about the big return from Friday night, huh? AJ Lee made her return to the WWE this past Friday on SmackDown. She made her return to WWE on SmackDown. She made her return. I thought I had a photo here. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but screw it. I'll just post this photo for shits and giggles. I'll post this photo. It's the picture of CM Punk and Triple H both pointing at AJ Lee. I got that picture. She looks in amazing shape. Let me just say that right now. So, yes, SmackDown was in Chicago. On Monday Night Raw this past Monday, CM Punk asked Adam Pearce, where was SmackDown going to be in? What city? And Pearce answered, Chicago. To Punk responding, tremendous. Because if you remember on Monday, Becky Lynch slapped CM Punk a little more, right? So we get to SmackDown. And look, by Punk saying what he said on Monday, SmackDown became must-see TV. Must-see TV. That's what it became for the most part. What's going on, Safet? Hope all is well with you. Hope you enjoyed my earlier rant on these children riding these motor scooters and mopeds on the street. It's unsafe. Something needs to be done. I hope whoever in Jersey, whoever's elected governor, they make a rule. I hope they do, but we'll see. But back to this whole AJ Lee return, right? So we get to Friday, right? And it becomes must-see TV, right? Because you wanted to see AJ Lee, right? Finally show up. And they sold out they sold out the Allstate Arena, Rosemont, Illinois. They sold it out. It was sold out on WrestleTix, right? But but you can get them on resale, but a high price. And everything was leading up to the return of AJ Lee. Don't get me wrong, SmackDown on Friday, it was all about the beginning of the show and the end. Everything in the middle, yeah, you can skip, to be honest, right? Which I'll get into in a little bit regarding Cena. So we get to the end of the show, and Rollins' music hits, and Rollins shows up through the crowd, right? He's standing there in the crowd at the Allstate Arena. Punk shows up. So does Becky Lynch. And Becky proceeds to roast the city of Chicago. Oh, Chicago sucks. All these sports teams suck. The Blackhawks suck. The Cubs suck. The Bulls suck. The White Sox suck. You notice she did not mention the Chicago Bears because, of course, Seth Rollins is a big fan of the Chicago Bears. Nor did she mention the Chicago Fire or Chicago FC. I don't know what the fuck they're called now, the MLS team, but you get the gist, all right? So 2 teams were saved from Becky's saying that they suck. And then out came CM Punk. And of course, Becky proceeds to slap him again. Keep on slapping, keep on slapping. He refers to Punk, to Rollins as a coward for being in the crowd and all that stuff. And again, Punk proceeds to say, hey, you know what? I can snap my finger. I can get one of my sisters who's in the front row to kick your ass right now. He can make a call to Bailey to deal with Becky Lynch or the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley. Now, let's be honest. There is a part of me that was like, you know what? All this, and they might not even have her show up. Can you imagine, real quick, what would have happened? What would have happened had AJ Lee not showed up on Friday? Can you imagine just the roar that you would have had on social, the shitstorm that you would have seen on social media? And then Punk left the ring. He's like, you know what? I will never put my hands on a woman. What a gentleman-like, right? What very gentleman-like. But he knew someone who would. And they made you wait for it. And then they played the music. You heard the music light it up. It not freaking Def Rebel. She didn't get Def Rebel yet. Let's hope not, right? And that pop, holy shit, bro. And she looked in amazing shape. She looked fantastic. She switched up for all my shoe heads out there. She switched up for her Chuck Taylors for Vans. And as someone who wears Vans, I popped. I popped like, oh, let's go. In with the new, right? Because really, to be honest, you don't really see anybody wear Chuck Taylors anymore. Not like that, at least, right? I mean, there probably are those who still do. But from what I've seen a lot is mostly Vans. Nothing wrong with Vans, by the way. I love Vans. Comfortable as all hell. Okay? She got this big reaction. And she gets in the ring and she takes down Becky Lynch. She beats her up, slaps her. The crowd's going electric. Keep in mind, it's like, yo, I'm happy for her. I'm going to be honest. I ain't going to lie. I got a little emotional there. A little bit. I ain't going to say completely like, oh my God. But a part of me is like, a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you. But to see all this, to see what went down, right? How can you not be happy? Right? And then they showed footage from I guess on their YouTube channel where AJ Lee was holding the Women's Intercontinental Championship. She was, again, everyone was happy. Even Punk, the look on Punk's face was just so crazy. And think about this, right? Just real quick. The last 3 years for CM Punk has been insane. The last 3 years. Matter of fact, no, let's take it back. It's 2025. The last 4 years has been insane for CM Punk. He comes back to pro wrestling in 2021, goes to AEW, United Center, right? The first dance? I think that's what they called it. The episode of Rampage, which has been canceled, by the way. You don't see Rampage anymore. No one watches it anymore. It's been canceled, right? But the big reaction, the big pop, the big excitement that it was at the United Center. And look, say what you want about AEW, but there's some importance from AEW. You got to understand the importance of AEW. Without AEW, CM Punk is still sitting on his couch at home in Chicago. And we probably would not seen the return that we've seen, right? So he shows up, right? He's back into wrestling, right? Things don't go the way he planned, right? There was a brawl out, And then there was Brawl In. They let him go. Tony was fearing for his life. He shows up in 2023. In 2023, he shows up at the Allstate Arena after the War Games match, Survivor Series 2023. And you guys remember that picture, right? That picture of Triple H and CM Punk. I wish I had it here, but I don't. But y'all remember, right? Y'all remember, right? That picture of Triple H. Matter of fact, if I can just find it real quick. I can just find it real quick. Just to show you guys what the fuck I'm talking about here. Just to show you guys what I mean when I say this. Like, yo, it's so crazy to think where the fuck how far we've come, right? Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. So you see that picture, right? You see it. That happened in 2023. That picture right there, right? At the Allstate Arena. Fast forward, a couple years later, 2025, in the same building that Punk returned to WWE, his wife, AJ Lee, returns. Gets the big reaction, right? The big pop, right? Triple H posted this photo on his social media. You can always come home. Welcome back at the AJ Mendez. Does the same point. And then they both, Punk and Triple H, point at AJ Mendez. How the fuck can you not be happy? How the fuck can you not be happy? Look, I've seen a lot of people on social media. I've seen a lot of exactly. Yes, I was Safed. I was on the Trio Heat watch along for Survivor Series. It was myself, Big Mike, and Sober Guy. It was the three of us. I'll never forget. I've seen a lot of people online, and this is the sickos. This is the sickos that are saying this. I know for a fact it's the sickos. Oh, I don't see the big deal. She's washed. She's overrated. She was never really that good. Have you seen her cage match rating? Have y'all seen the cage match rating, by the way? She's not that bueno, guys. These are the same fucks, the same fools, the same jabronis who would have been jerking each other off had AJ Lee walked in to an AEW ring. I guarantee you, and look, it's crazy because I said this on my Twitter. I don't know how many of you guys see my tweets or not, but I said this on my Twitter a couple of days ago. I said this. In an alternate, I don't know. Let me go back. Let me find my Twitter. Let me find my tweet. Let me find my tweet. Let me find my tweet. Let me find my tweet here. And I said this on Twitter, right? I said this, I said, if circumstances had been different, we might have seen April Mendez, because obviously she could have not used AJ Lee in AEW, face Mercedes Moné or timeless Toni Storm at All In and All Out, or hell, it's September, right? Arthur Ashe Stadium or the United Center. Oh, well. And then I used the Kanye West gif. I guess we'll never know. You guys, they had it. It could have been. Think about that for a second. You could have seen April Mendez versus Mercedes Moné. You could have seen April Mendez, AJ Lee, whatever you want to call her, versus timeless Toni Storm. You could have seen, April Mendez versus someone who's worth the damn, I guess, in AEW. Someone who's worth the damn in AEW. Deonna Purrazzo, which I think is an insult that she's still relegated to Paywall of Honor. But that's beside the point, okay? You could have seen these matches, but Tony, decided to do what he wanted to do, right? He let Punk go, his biggest draw that he ever had. And now look what happened. They had it. They had it. But I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm happy, dude. Like I said before, I got a little emotional. I did, bro. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I got a little emotional. Chief writes here, CM Punk is still the biggest draw till this. It's still AEW's biggest draw till this day. Yes. AJ Lee, Britt Baker, that writes Venom, had obviously AJ gone to AEW. AJ Lee's a trailblazer. I totally agree. I completely agree. You know, a lot of people out there, again, are saying that she's washed, she's this, she's that. I even seen like this new like crop of content creators. I'm sure you guys know who they are. They do these reaction videos and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of these. Some of them I feel like are truly genuine. Some of them I feel like are truly genuine. They come from a good place. Okay. But then I've seen some who I just feel like, bro, it's forced as fuck. I'm not familiar with all their names. Okay. But some of them you can just tell how much AJ Lee meant to these individuals. And not only that, but like, everyone on the roster was fangirling for AJ Lee. Roxanne Perez, Naomi. Just think about this too. To my end, and look, she's back. She's not, this is not just a one and done. She is back full time. She's going to be on Monday Night Raw and later tonight, which I'm going to try and make this fast. Because I know Raw goes live tonight at 8 p.m. I know next week they go live at 7 p.m. So meaning next week, Steve's Kitchen might be on a little earlier, just to give you the heads up. But think about the women that AJ Lee will get to face now compared to when she was on top. It's night and day. Yes, you can. I'm sure a lot of you are already doing your fantasy bookings, right? AJ Lee versus Roxanne Perez, AJ Lee versus Io Sky, AJ Lee versus Rhea Ripley, AJ Lee versus Charlotte Flair, AJ Lee versus Liv Morgan, New Jersey versus New Jersey, right? Like Safet said, AJ Lee versus Sol Ruka, AJ Lee versus Zarya, AJ Lee versus Stephanie Becker, AJ Lee versus Julia, AJ Lee versus Asuka, AJ Lee versus Kairi Sane, AJ Lee versus Bianca Belair, AJ Lee versus Naomi when she comes back from her pregnancy, AJ Lee versus obviously Becky Lynch which is gonna happen, AJ Lee versus Natalia, which I'm sure they've done it before, AJ Lee versus, I feel like I'm missing someone right now. Jordan Grace. There you go. Jordan Grace. Jada Parker. Obviously, oh my goodness. Oh my fucking goodness. How Blake Monroe. The list goes on. You can make any booking sheet that you want. And it's gonna hit, bro. It's gonna hit like crack, right? To be honest, my memory of AJ Lee, it was when she announced she was the GM of Raw to Daniel Bryan on Raw 1000. Great times. Exactly. Chief writes here as well. You think firing CM Punk was TK's worst financial decision to AEW? It started the domino effect started to me when Cody left. And then it just continued. And, when you lost Punk, like, damn, you lost your biggest attraction. You lost your biggest draw that you had, your biggest name that you had. There's a difference. Look, I like Okada. I like Will Ospreay. I like Mercedes Moné. They're stars. But they're not draws. I think people don't seem to understand the difference, if you will. But the reality is, look, I think in hindsight, I'm just happy for her. I really, really am. Just to see, that reaction. And look, I know she lives in Chicago, right? Because her CM Punk's from Chicago, right? So Chicago is like her new home. But bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That was Jersey, bro. Jersey. fucking new fucking jersey, bro. I will always represent the people from my state. I will always give them 100% support. The people that come from my state. AJ Lee, Deanna Purrazzo, Jay Lethal, Joey Janela, Liv Morgan. The list goes on of so many people, but still, you kind of get the idea, right? So seeing what happened, what went down, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I got a little emotional. I did. I got a little emotional, you know. But I'm happy to see her back. There's so much stuff that's gonna go down. Look, they will probably make it official tonight on Raw. It's gonna be probably Rollins and Becky versus Punk and AJ Lee at Wrestlepalooza. So when that happens, get ready. Get ready. But outside of that, also, again, SmackDown as a whole, look, it was just the beginning of the show and then the end. Everything in the middle, it's whatever. Whatever. You think she will represent Jersey or Chicago? I think Chicago, but who knows? Maybe they'll announce her still from Union City, New Jersey, because she still has family that lives out here. So, look, they can build her from Chicago, Illinois. That's fine. But again, for those who know what's up, she'll always be Jersey. She will always be New Jersey. You know, New York is next door to New Jersey. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Safat. That is true. AJ had me emotional, bro. And some of my wrestling friends were hating on it. They said it was obvious, and I said no shit. Like, look, they made it obvious. They didn't hide away from it. Because again, they had no choice, bro. Can you imagine what would have happened had they announced someone else? But point is, but I said it moments ago, but still, overall, I thought SmackDown, again, beginning and the end. The beginning was obviously John Cena, who came out there on his final appearance on SmackDown, his final SmackDown appearance in Chicago. I totally forgot that his SmackDown debut was in Chicago. I always remember it because it was on the day of my birthday. Okay, June 27th. That's why I will always remember his debut. I just forgot what city it was in, right? When you think about it, that building is such a had so many historic moments in pro wrestling. When you think about it, right? It's no wonder why like WWE really, I mean, they could, but they probably won't. Like you would think, hey, WWE, the way they are now, how come they're not going to the United Center? Well, there's so much history at the Allstate Arena, the old Rosemont Horizon. So I guess for the nostalgia. But point is though, yes, Cena came out, talked about his final appearance on SmackDown, how he debuted in Chicago on SmackDown against Kurt Angle. Sami Zayn comes out, and obviously Sami was getting boos. Now, people are panicking over this. I don't think this is going to be a forever thing. I just think it was that one night thing. Hey, this is Cena's moment. You're kind of getting involved, right? But being that Sami Zayn did win the U.S. title from Solo Sikoa, he wanted to get Cena's blessing. Hey, can I do the U.S. Open Challenge like you did to establish new names? Cena gave him his blessing. And before Cena could even leave the ring, Sami wanted Cena to answer the first match. And they did. So Cena had an impromptu match in Chicago against Sami Zayn. 10 years, not really to the day, but when you think about it, right? It was 10 years ago that Sami Zayn and John Cena had that match on Monday Night Raw and Sami's debut on the main roster in answering a U.S. Open Challenge in Montreal. That's where Sami Zayn injured himself by just doing this at the beginning of the match. I don't know how many of you remember that. And the match itself, it was getting to that second gear. Like they were cooking, right? Cena hit the pop-up power bomb. He hit the ankle lock. I think he also went for like a spear, right? Like he went for like a GTS and the spear, right? which obviously the way he was doing it, it resembled a lot like Edge. And obviously Michael Cole's like, oh, it was like his rival, the big dog, Roman Reigns. And no, it wasn't even like that. He was paying homage to Edge, Cope, whatever you want to call him. And then Brock Lesnar shows up. Now, Brock shows up and he lays out both Sami Zayn and John Cena. And as he's leaving, like he goes through Gorilla and there's a camera there. He's like, John Cena, I'll see you at Wrestlepalooza, bitch. And it's official. I mean, again, it's the worst kept secret, obviously. It's going to be. God damn it, what's going on? What the fuck is going on here? That's weird. But for whatever reason, like my graphic is not showing here. It's supposed to be Brock Lesnar and John Cena. God damn it. What's going on with StreamYard today, yo? But it's official, though. It is John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at Wrestlepalooza. It is going to go down, though. It is going down, by the way. And being that, obviously, they want to act silly today. Streamer wants to act very silly. I gotta have to do this now. But yeah, there it is. There's the graphic. There's the graphic. John Cena versus oh, you saw the graphic? Okay. I couldn't see it on the screen. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Streamer's acting very funny. All these new fucking updates and shit. So am I the only person who's experiencing Sammy fatigue? Could be a little bit. Could be. I would have preferred Cena versus Styles over one more time over Cena versus Lesnar. I think a lot of people would as well. Who's to say we might get it? We just might get the match. Who knows, really? Who really knows? But time will tell. Mind you, some of my friends are diehard AEW fans who hate everything WWE. Well, Weston, you know, what can I tell you, brother? What can I tell you, man? It happens. It's okay. That they're dealing with what's going on right now. It could be. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, Styles is no longer a spring chicken. You know what I mean? So, and to be fair, if he were to retire, who are we to be mad about it? The man did everything you could have imagined, bro. Like, went to he started in he was in TNA, right? He was like the ace of TNA. Things, you know, went south between him and management. Goes to Japan, right? And Ring of Honor, right? Part of the Bullet Club, wins the IWGP World Title, right? He finally goes to WWE. And he wins the WWE title in his rookie year in WWE. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought? You know? A Universal, I disagree with that, brother. I disagree with that. She was like one of those women who were like pitching for like women to get better pay and stuff like that. So again, you have a right to your opinion. Guys, let's just come on, guys. Let's all be friendly here. All right. Let's all be friendly. I'm just apathetic about Lesnar being back. Not mad, but excited. I'm not. You know what my issue is? Like, honestly, again, I said this when the whole thing happened. I just know what to expect from the match. It's not anything to go crazy about. Like, it's not like Brock learned a new hold, you know? That's the thing. If it was like, okay, Brock learned something different, but it could be suplex, a fight, a brawl, whatever it is, and then that's it. That's all it's going to be. That is all it's going to be. You know? I still want to know, why did Brock attack Cena? That's what I want to know. You know what I mean? That's what I really want to know, to be honest. Ted right here, Matt Riddle is down bad. I'll get into that in just a little bit. I'll get into that. I know a lot of people were talking about Matt Riddle. He's in the mud, right? But we'll get into that in a little bit too. But yeah, man, look, Cena and Brock, there now the graphic shows up on my end, okay? Finally, holy shit. Good for them. Good for them. Remember, All Out starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Same day as Wrestle. Yeah, I'll get into this right now. I'll get into this one. So I'm sure by now you already know, right? Wrestlepalooza, All Out, they're going head to head on the same day, right? Even though All Out was announced first, right? And then here comes Wrestlepalooza, right? And everyone was under the impression that, hey, would Tony move the date or the time of the show, right? Because if you think about it, right, Wrestlepalooza is being stacked. It's like, yo, they are stacking this PLE, right? Stacked to the gills, right? And again, it's their first PLE on ESPN. So they want to leave a very good impression. Keep in mind, there's some of you out there. Let's just keep it 100. Keep it 100. Keep it 100. Not many of us are going to get ESPN. Like, look, I have ESPN Plus. Okay. We're going to use that VPN. Let's just keep it 100. There's a lot of y'all who are going to use that VPN and watch it on Netflix. I know Stephanie promoted it on her podcast, right? So, yeah, we'll see. But Tony Khan finally decided to do a couple of changes. Change number one is that All Out will now be at 3 p.m., like obviously Safet mentioned here, 3 p.m. Eastern, right? Also, it'll be streaming on HBO Max. Now, here's the catch. If you are already subscribed to HBO Max, you will get AEW All Out at a discounted price. Now, I'm sure you all know the price already, but I'm sure when you heard this at first, you're like, okay, it might be, $20, right? As a member of HBO Max. That seems fair. 30, I am okay with. Nah. Original price for these pay-per-views are what? $50? So as a member so if you have HBO Max, you're going to get AEW All Out at a discounted price of $39.99. Yeah, you're going to get it for $40. $40. 40. Basically, it's cheaper to get ESPN and watch the WWE PLE on ESPN. Now, I understand it's their business model is they're still in pay-per-view mode. Totally understandable. I think people were under the impression that, oh man, I get HBO Max and I get to watch it like I watch Peacock and stuff like that. No, not so fast. You kind of knew going in that you were going to pay something. If you were under the impression, I'll be honest, if you were under the impression that you were actually going to be paying for something, like if you thought that you were not going to pay, you were going to get all the pay-per-views for free, all I can say to you is,
congratulations.
You've been worked. Yeah, you've been worked. You've been worked. You have been worked. Now, I know that the Solid Monster said this on the Sound Off, and I want to give him a shout out for this one. Love the guy. The reason why I even started doing this in the first place. And he made a suggestion, and I kind of agree with it. What Tony should have done as like a big F y'all to what was going on, he should have done All Out for all members of HBO Max for free. That one show. And then after that, you got to pay. But if you're a member of HBO Max, you get All Out for free. The first pay-per-view on Max is free. But after that, you got to pay. That's what I would have done. Right? But at the end of the day, look, regardless, Tony did the right thing. Tony Khan did the right thing. And I know a lot of people are going to call him, oh, you a bitch. Oh, you're a wuss. Oh, you scared. Nah, bro. Tony, at the end of the day, did a smart move. Because think about this, right? I get to watch All Out early in the afternoon. That's Saturday. And look, it's not going to be a 3 to 4 hour show. This shit going to go long. We're talking 6 hours, 6 hours, right? It's going to go into Wrestlepalooza. Just like All Out, just like All In did. And now I know that in their press release, they stated that, because of the success of Forbidden Door starting at 3 p.m., we decided to move it at 3 p.m. Now, I mean, it could be, but the reality is, no, WWE doing this show at 8 p.m., and we do not want to be wrecked by their show. We do not. Again, and I said this earlier, WWE is going to stack up that first PLE on ESPN. They are. That is counter programming. Yes, paying $30 for ESPN and it gets you WWE PLEs and sports. Exactly. And of course, Forbidden Door was in London, but still, that is their now I don't have to pick which one to watch live. Exactly. Look, I can watch, and look, as a content creator, my plan is not changing. That's the reality of it. I'm probably going to be doing a post show right after Wrestlepalooza. That's probably the plan. Probably do both shows. For now, that might change. And to be honest, too, the sickos, they're not watching Wrestlepalooza. The sickos are watching All Out. That's all they're going to be watching. So it doesn't matter to them because, again, the sickos, they don't go out. They stay home on Saturdays. So they'll be fine. But again, Tony Khan did a right move, in my opinion. Smart move. Because again, as a viewer, I get to watch both shows. As a content creator, I get to focus on each show at its time. But think about it, bro. There's gonna be a shitload of wrestling on that day. A shitload of it. So there's that. And look, I'll be honest right now. I'm looking at this so far what they have, right? So far what they have for All Out. I know we already know about, FTR and Cope and Christian, right? That's happening already. They announced this as well. I think this was announced on Collision. It's for the Women's World Championship, a fatal 4-way. It's Timeless Toni Storm, who's defending her title against Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Tekla. Yeah. We have nothing for our Women's World Champion. So, we'll just have you face 3 random chicks that you're probably going to beat. So, there's that. And then this one. This one really pisses me off. You have Mercedes Moné and Riho. Now, look, I get it. Riho's the former the first AEW Women's Champion. I get all that. And I understand there's some of you out there who love Riho and think she's great, and that's cool. But she hasn't been on AEW television in over a year. Over a year, up until her return this past Wednesday. She hasn't wrestled a match in over a year and change. She comes back and we're going to give her a championship match. That's how it works. And let's be honest, you really think Riho is beating Mercedes? Think about it. You really think Riho is beating Mercedes Moné? If you think so,
congratulations.
You've been worked. Yeah, been worked. And it's annoying because you have women like Deonna Purrazzo, and I said this before, I'm always going to rep hard from people from my state who are relegated to paywall of honor. Meanwhile, Rio shows up and we put her in this match. And all the sickos, yay, Rio. It's ridiculous. And then also, I know Kyle Fletcher challenged Hangman Page for the world title. Hangman hasn't answered yet, so probably he will. That's probably the match happening at All Out. But here's also happening at All Out. It will be Jon Moxley and Darby Allin in a coffin match. Likely, if Tony knows what's up, this is main eventing the show. Big money Mox. Big money Mox. That should be the main event. And look, I saw the rating. Under 500,000 people. Brutal. Fucking brutal. Fucking brutal. You know? But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, that was going to go down. Again, Tony did the right move. So there's that. And I agree, Draven. It does look like a filler show for now. It does. It does. So we'll see how it goes. I know also Big Bill has called out Eddie Kingston. What a way to bring him back, right? Yeah. What a waste. Let's get into this real quick. I know someone asked about Matt Riddle being down bad. Now, to my understanding, he was booked for a show in the UK and he no-showed it. He no-showed, and I guess the promoter asked for Matt Riddle to return the deposit that they made for him because the show is a charity event. I know Matt Riddle posted a video on his social media where he said that, hey, he basically said, they didn't tell him that it was a charity event, right? That they wanted him to be in the UK in a hotel room for 2 days, right? Not doing anything, and he needed to work, and that basically what pissed him off too is the way they set up his travel. Like they got him middle row, no check bag, no food. Now, let me just say the whole thing, because I know also the promoter in the UK responded, right? And they did get their deposit back, right? It does not make Matt Riddle look good at all. Let me just say that right now. It makes him look like a fool. Just hearing him, right? Just hearing him, he just looks like, bro, he's on it, right? He's on the bud, right? Damn, brother, that's the one thing you write. You did not write anything at all about the entire stuff that I've been talking about. But hey, it's an AEW. Ahí sí habla, ahí sí habla. It's okay, bro. It's all good. Got love for you, brother. Where was I, though? Where was I? And of course, my computer is acting up. There we go. We're so back. We are so back. Damn, you miss all the stuff that I was talking about, man. Where you been, Paloo? Where you been? So, yeah, Big Bill versus Eddie Kingston, New York versus New York. Cool, I guess. Matt Riddle, talented performer, but seems to be an obnoxious person to work with. Yeah, you're telling me. So, I know he did a video. He said also in another video where he looked like he was stoned. Oh, F all these geeks and this and that. And I'm going to start fighting again. Or, I still got the OnlyFans money that he does. And now look, the one thing, believe it or not, that I will side with Matt Riddle, because believe it or not, I try to find, okay, what can I agree with? And you know what it is? The travel. Hear me out. There's a difference between you or me traveling versus a wrestler. See, when people like me or you go to, let's say, another country, right? Or a different city, whether it be Miami, whether it be Tulum, whether you're going to Punta Cana, whether you're going to Ibiza, right? Or wherever it may be, you don't give a fuck where you sit on the plane as long as you get there, right? As long as you get there, you don't give a fuck where you're sitting on the plane, right? You don't give a fuck where you're sitting on the plane as long as you get there, right? Keep in mind, brother, folks, lads, I was on a plane for almost 8 hours flying to Madrid, right? I flew economy plus. I didn't give a fuck because guess what? I'm going to Europe. I did not give a fuck where I sat at. Now, if it's a wrestler, it's different. Because you got to remember, a lot of these wrestlers, right? A lot of them, right? Upon landing, they have to wrestle right away. They got to go. They land. They go. They wait for the driver, right? I'm sure the driver, whoever it is, has their name on their phone like this, right? When they arrive, they get in the car. They go to the venue, right? They go right to the venue. The wrestler does the meet and greet, signs autographs. They're jet lagged, right? They're exhausted. They go wrestle. And then they go right back on the plane. So for a wrestler, so in Matt Riddle's situation, yeah, bro, look, if I'm flying to the UK to wrestle for your independent promotion show, charity or not, yeah, I would expect, I'm not saying first class or business class, but fuck. Can I get economy plus? Can I get a bag checked? Can the airline provide me a can of soda and some airline food or some fucking chips? That's the difference. That is the only thing I will side with Matt Riddle. Everything else, yeah, dude's out of it. Dude's in the mud. Do y'all get what I'm saying, though? Like, chat, let me know. Do y'all understand the difference, though? Let me know in the chat. Because I feel like a lot of y'all just want me to just, Matt Riddle, dumb, Matt Riddle. But I try to find, at least again with me, I try to find some of the, something I can, defend at least. That's what I try to do. Okay. But outside of that, look, man, it's an exciting time, y'all. It is an exciting time. Oh, look at this. They announced the official match for Dynamite. Hangman Page and Josh Alexander in a grudge match. Timeless Tony Storm versus Sky Blue. Y'all, you know where this is going. I'm going to bet the under 9 minutes and a half on this match. You have Mercedes Moné and Emi Sakura, who's been in, I guess, backstage, just chilling, I guess, this entire time against Riho and Alex Windsor. And, of course, you have Ricochet and Shelton Benjamin going at it. Yep. It may not be – look, that might bring them back to the 500,000s, so we'll see how that goes. Do you see Ronda Rousey complaining about wrestling Alexa Bliss? Yeah, I saw that. Ronda's gonna Ronda, I know Ronda Rousey has rubbed people the wrong way, It's crazy because Ronda, when you look back on it, right, it's the tale of two runs. She had a one run where it was awesome, right? That WrestleMania 34 match. She won the title. And then the second run, it just, So there's that. Anyway, guys, also real quick, this Friday, it is another Worlds Collide show. It's on the weekend of Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford, which is going to go down to Saturday live on Netflix. If I'm going to predict something here, I will say this fight will go to distance. Okay? That's going to be it for me, guys. Much love to all of you for tuning in. Next week, Steve's Kitchen will probably start a little earlier because Raw will start at 7 p.m. All right, but that's going to be it for me. Thank you all for watching. Much love. I love each and every one of you. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. I'll be back live tomorrow with another edition, this time of the Raw Rundown, where I talk about all the stuff that happened on Monday Night Raw. Okay? Thank you all for watching. If you are new to the channel, again, as always, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button. Follow the Around the Point Network over on X at 18 Point Network. That's going to be it for me, guys. Much love to all of you. Welcome back, Crazy Chick. We missed you. Happy to see you back. And I cannot wait to hear what you got to say tonight on Raw. Raw tonight could be must-see. There's levels to this, y'all. Remember that, y'all. All right, y'all. We out. Peace.
Listen. Fuck up. Get out.
Light it up.